If all human culture since the very beginning has agreed on just one thing, it's that ghosts can be a real pain in the neck. Whether telling Hamlet to kill his uncle, or insisting that there is no Dana, only Zool, they can make life more complicated than we might prefer. Which is why exorcist has been a viable career choice for thousands of years. But since a ghost is usually defined as being the surviving personality of a human being, this raises a question. If anyone ever provably killed a ghost, could they then be charged with having committed murder? This might seem to be an incredibly pedantic legal question, but during the 19th century, the outcome of a hugely influential court case and a man's life hinged on the answer. During the famous Hammersmith ghost murder trial. In 1803, John Graham, an elderly shoemaker, decided to play a practical joke on his apprentice. So he put a sheet over his head and stood in a churchyard waiting for him to walk past. He was there for a while before finally being chased away by a night watchman. It wasn't a very successful practical joke. However, word got around, and soon someone remembered that the previous year a man believed to have committed suicide had been buried in that churchyard despite normal church regulations. It was concluded that this violation of the laws of God and nature had created some kind of an unholy spectre, and so the whole area descended into mass hysteria. 2 brewers' assistants claimed that they were strangled by invisible hands in the cemetery. Then there was the story that a lady had died of fright after being chased and hugged by a ghost. Then one night at around 10:30 p.m., an excise officer named Francis Smith, after doing some heavy drinking, decided to solve the problem once and for all. So, in a possibly not perfectly thought-through plan, he grabbed his shotgun and headed for the haunted churchyard. At about the same time, a local plasterer named Thomas Millwood was walking home, dressed in loose white clothes and covered in white plaster dust. He decided to take a shortcut through the churchyard. In retrospect, this was a mistake. At his trial, Francis Smith's defense was that when he shot Thomas Millwood, he was really sure that he was a ghost. The jury believed him and returned a verdict of manslaughter. However, the judge overruled this. He said that the question of whether or not it was actually a ghost that was shot was irrelevant. He pointed out that Smith had made no attempt to reason with the ghost or to arrest it for its ghostly mischief before firing. So, even if it really had been a ghost, Smith would still be guilty of ghost murder. And so, Francis Smith was sentenced to hang. However, this was immediately commuted by the Crown to a year of hard labour. This ruling seems to suggest that, under British law at the time, the killing of a ghost was regarded as equivalent to the killing of anyone else. But this wasn't universal. During almost identical criminal trials in India in 1887, 1926, and 1942, a ghost defense was successful, as it also was in a case in Sudan in 1959. So, on the basis of available evidence, it appears that for most of the 19th and 20th centuries, ghost killing was legal in India and the Sudan, but possibly not so in Britain. Its legality in other areas remains open to question. In 1984, the Hammersmith ghost case was re-examined. There was a court case where a man had come across another man threatening a child and had violently intervened. What he didn't know was that the child had just mugged an old lady and the man was trying to get her purse back. The Hammersmith ghost case was used as a precedent that his mistaken belief was not a defense, but on appeal this was overturned. So, after 180 years, the Crown basically admitted that the conviction of Francis Smith was a mistake. This leaves the current legality of ghost killing unclear in the United Kingdom. The subsequent case overturned the idea that mistaken belief is not a defense, but said nothing about the actual legality of ghost murder. So, when exercising in the United Kingdom, keep in mind that you are stepping into a legal grey area. In a final piece of cruel irony, locals of the Hammersmith region have since claimed that Thomas Millwood now haunts the area as a ghost. To the best of available knowledge, no one has yet taken a shot at him.